For decades, California was known as the center of high-paying white-collar jobs. From tech and media to finance and professional services, the state attracted talent from around the world. Major employers across California are cutting jobs, even as the broader economy continues to grow. This is not a sudden crash, and it's not a traditional recession. Instead, it's a structural shift that's quietly changing how California's job market works. In this video, we explain why these layoffs are happening, which sectors are most affected, and what this shift means for workers and businesses going forward. The current reality: California's job market is going through a transformation unlike anything the state has seen before. The latest employment data paints a clear picture. White-collar jobs are disappearing while blue-collar positions are making a comeback. Here are the numbers. Through the first 8 months of the year, California experienced its first sustained job decline since the pandemic. Professional and business services, the largest white-collar sector, shed 46,100 jobs. Financial services dropped 17,000 positions, and the information sector, which includes tech companies, declined by 12,500 jobs. California's unemployment rate has remained above 5% for 19 consecutive months, currently sitting at 5.5%. That's significantly higher than the national average of 4.2%. In fact, California now has the highest unemployment rate of any state in the country, only rivaled by Washington, D.C. at 5.9% and Nevada at 5.4%. Meanwhile, construction, manufacturing, and hands-on service jobs are expanding. These blue-collar industries are offering more openings and, in many cases, better pay than before. Healthcare and social services are also seeing significant growth, adding over 168,000 jobs in the past year, driven largely by California's aging population. This represents a complete reversal of the trends California has experienced for the past half-century. The narrative used to be white-collar growth and blue-collar decline. Now those roles have flipped. The white-collar breakdown. Let's dig deeper into what's happening in the white-collar world. Michael Bernick, former director of California's Employment Development Department and now an employment attorney, describes the situation bluntly. Employers aren't letting go of workers in large numbers, but they're not hiring either. Tech job postings in San Francisco have dropped 55% compared to pre-pandemic levels. That's more than half. Silicon Valley hiring remains far below its peak, and the AI boom that everyone's been talking about hasn't translated into significant new employment opportunities. The numbers tell a stark story. In San Francisco and San Mateo counties, professional, scientific, and technical fields shed 7,100 positions. San Francisco's unemployment rate has jumped a full percentage point since the start of the year, from 3.9% to 4.9%. Here's a particularly concerning statistic. At least half of California college graduates are now working in jobs that don't require college degrees. That's right. 50% of people who invested in higher education are underemployed, working positions they're overqualified for. The competition for white-collar positions has become intense. Bernick notes that if you've been searching for 10 months or longer without success, you're not alone. This isn't about individual abilities. It reflects broader economic realities affecting thousands of skilled workers. Tech companies have announced over 141,000 job cuts through October, compared to 120,000 during the same period the previous year. Major names like Intel, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft have all announced significant layoffs. The blue-collar comeback. Now here's the silver lining. California's blue-collar economy is experiencing a genuine resurgence. Construction is expanding. Manufacturing is growing. Forest management, which is increasingly important given California's wildfire challenges, is creating new opportunities. The positive signs are real. These sectors are not just creating jobs. They're offering competitive wages that are starting to challenge the traditional white-collar premium. Healthcare continues to boom with consistent growth for 43 consecutive months. Private education and health services have added significant positions, partly due to California's aging population requiring more care services. Leisure and hospitality showed gains, with notable increases in performing arts, spectator sports, and related activities thanks to increased tourism across the state. Even civic and social organizations within the broader services sector have been growing consistently. The message from employment experts is clear. It's time to reconsider old prejudices about what makes a good job. Bernick puts it simply, white-collar jobs aren't inherently more prestigious than blue-collar jobs. In terms of actual value to society, and increasingly in terms of compensation, it might be the opposite. For workers considering a career change, the data backs up the opportunity. Blue-collar positions are offering stability, decent pay, and most importantly, they're actually hiring. What's driving the shift? So what's causing this historic reversal? Several powerful forces are at work simultaneously. First, there's artificial intelligence. While AI is generating enormous excitement and investment, California received nearly 70% of all U.S. venture funding in early periods, including 7 of the 10 largest investment deals in the Americas. It's replacing jobs faster than it's creating them. A recent estimate suggests at least 10,000 jobs nationwide have been eliminated due to AI adoption, and CEOs from major companies like Ford, Amazon, and J.P. Morgan Chase are warning of far greater losses ahead. Second, pandemic overhiring is coming back to haunt employers. During the pandemic, white-collar companies went on a hiring spree. Now they're correcting course, laying off workers even though revenues in many sectors remain healthy. Companies have become more risk-averse and are moving toward a leaner employment model. Third, interest rate increases have compounded the pain. Higher federal interest rates pushed companies to pull back from their pandemic hiring sprees, leading tech firms to shed tens of thousands of roles. Fourth, budget tightening at federal, state, and local government levels is affecting employment. Even government work, once a safe haven for white-collar workers, is no longer insulated. San Francisco and San Mateo counties shed 4,700 government jobs in a single month alone, making up 98% of the region's total losses. The result? California has too many qualified workers chasing too few jobs in the white-collar sector. The labor market has shifted from an employee-friendly environment to one where employers have all the leverage. California's divided economy. What makes California's situation unique is that the state is running 2 completely different economies at the same time. On one side, high-productivity sectors like AI, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing continue to thrive. California received nearly 70% of all U.S. venture funding, and 7 of the 10 largest investment deals in the Americas occurred in-state. These sectors are flush with capital and pushing technological boundaries. On the other side, construction, non-durable goods manufacturing, retail, and leisure and hospitality face significant pressure. These traditional industries are dealing with elevated costs, weak job growth, and various economic headwinds. The state's overall job market is in what experts call a hold steady pattern. After shedding jobs early in the year, employers added some positions in the spring, leaving California with roughly the same number of jobs as it started with. The unemployment rate today is identical to what it was at the beginning of the year, 5.4%. This represents a significant contrast with the rest of the nation. While California employers have been cautious, the national economy has shown stronger job growth. California's labor force has grown by 137,000 workers, 1/3 more than Texas, the next fastest-growing labor market. But many of these new labor force entrants are struggling to find positions, which is pushing up the unemployment rate. Healthcare, social assistance, and local government have been the bright spots. Without the 29,000 jobs added in these sectors since January, California would have seen nearly double the job losses. What this means going forward, so where does this leave California workers and the state's economy? For white-collar job seekers, the reality is sobering. The market has fundamentally shifted, and the old strategies may not work anymore. The days of easy tech jobs with generous compensation packages have given way to intense competition for fewer positions. Job searches that once took weeks are now stretching into months. But this isn't all doom and gloom. The blue-collar resurgence represents genuine opportunity. Construction workers, manufacturers, healthcare workers, and skilled tradespeople are finding solid employment with competitive pay. These aren't just stopgap jobs, they're legitimate careers with growth potential. The state's labor force is growing, which is positive for long-term economic health, especially in an era of an aging, shrinking workforce nationally. California is attracting workers and new labor market entrants at rates that surpass other major states. The challenge is connecting these new workers to available jobs and addressing the skills mismatch between what workers are trained for and what the market actually needs. With over 1 million Californians unemployed, there's clearly more work to be done. Experts emphasize the need to examine barriers businesses face in sustaining and growing their workforce, to connect new labor market entrants to available jobs, and to address long-term unemployment challenges. California's job market is experiencing a historic shift. White-collar jobs that dominated the state's economy for decades are declining, while blue-collar positions are experiencing a genuine comeback. The state has the highest unemployment rate in the nation at 5.5%. Tech companies are laying off thousands, and half of college graduates are working jobs that don't require their degrees. But there's opportunity in this transformation. Blue-collar jobs in construction, manufacturing, and healthcare are expanding. These positions offer stability, competitive wages, and the chance to build meaningful careers. The key takeaway: the California job market of today looks fundamentally different from the one we knew just a few years ago. Success in this new landscape means being flexible, reconsidering old assumptions about prestige and career paths, and recognizing that value comes in many forms, not just from a corner office in a tech company. What are your thoughts on California's shifting job market? Are you experiencing these changes firsthand? Drop your comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of economic trends that affect your career. Thanks for watching.